Aaron Peters. Is Mormonism a destructive cult? I really enjoy hearing you bring your Scientology expertise to other movements. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Aaron. Yeah, Mormonism, or the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the LDS Church. Yeah, there is destructive cult stuff going on in that group. As I've gone over with Jonathan Streeter and Lloyd Evans, when I've done, we've done our videos together here where we've talked about the Jehovah's Witnesses and we've talked about the Mormons, we have said many times that Mormonism is a lighter grade destructive cult than, say, Scientology or Jehovah's Witnesses. There are not as many outright destructive practices, in Mormonism as there are in these other groups. But there is enough going on there, and it is enough of an insulated, kind of insular, exclusive community of us versus them, and that I feel that it still fits the criteria. I would not say barely fits the criteria, but it's definitely on the spectrum. It's closer to a non-destructive cult than Scientology is. But I would still not recommend anybody go become a Mormon, right? The us versus them mentality is like I said, is very much there, and also the sexual predation and sexual predation is not a characteristic of a destructive cult, but the hiding of it, the rationalization of it, the acceptance of it is. That is part of a destructive cult mentality, and that is probably one of the biggest reasons why I would still label Mormonism as a destructive cult. Because as Jonathan Streeter and I went over in our last podcast just a month or so ago, where we talked about this, the LDS Church is very much engaging in covering up and justifying and rationalizing very intrusive, sexually intrusive behavior towards children, and that's not cool. Right? It's just not. It's not. Sorry, it's not okay. So anybody who if you're out there thinking that I don't know what I'm talking about, or that I'm, if you're somehow feeling apologetic toward Mormonism because you haven't experienced those things, fine. I'm not going to sit here and say that every single Mormon is an evil person or something, and in any way that more than I would say every Scientologist is an evil person. I'm talking about a systemic situation here, not an individual parishioner situation. So I hope that's clear. But yeah, I wouldn't go near the Mormons, particularly as far as joining up with that group or something like that. They have a ways to go still until they have fully acclimated into society without any destructive cult characteristics.